Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have ever felt misunderstood, judged by your appearance, your past, or even the opinions of others? Maybe you've been trapped in a cycle of wondering if you're enough, if your life reflects who you truly are. But let me tell you something powerful today. God is in the business of transformation, and He is about to change how you look. God's process of transforming how others perceive us begins by first addressing how we see ourselves. Perception is a powerful force, and often our lives reflect the limitations we've placed on ourselves based on distorted self-views. These distorted views are shaped by experiences, rejections, societal labels, and sometimes even the words of people who never understood our true potential. But God's intention is to align our perception of ourselves with His truth. He sees us not through the lens of human judgment, but through the lens of purpose and destiny. This transformation starts inwardly. Often, before God changes how others see us, He works on our hearts, minds, and spirits. This is because the way we view ourselves sets the tone for how others interact with us. If you carry an image of being unworthy, unloved, or insignificant, you project that into the world, even if unintentionally. God knows that for others to see you differently, you must first recognize the value and worth He has placed within you. He calls you His masterpiece, created in His image, and destined to fulfill a purpose far greater than you can comprehend. The challenge, however, is that many of us have internalized false narratives. We've allowed past failures, hurtful words, or societal expectations to dictate how we view ourselves. These narratives become barriers, preventing us from walking fully in the confidence and identity God has for us. But here's the good news. God is in the business of rewriting stories. He is not limited by your past, your current circumstances, or even your perception of yourself. When He begins to transform how you look, He starts by replacing lies with His truth. The Bible is full of examples of this transformation. When God called Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses saw himself as inadequate, even telling God he wasn't eloquent enough to speak. But God didn't allow Moses' insecurity to define him. Instead, He reminded Moses that He had created him and would equip him for the task ahead. Moses' perception of himself shifted as he began to see himself through God's eyes, and eventually others saw him as a leader and deliverer. When we embrace how God sees us, a ripple effect occurs. This inner transformation begins to radiate outward, changing how others view us as well. People may have seen you as broken, but when God transforms you, they will see strength. They may have labeled you as ordinary, but God will reveal the extraordinary work He is doing in your life. This shift in perception isn't just cosmetic. It's spiritual. It reflects God's hand at work in your life, shaping you into the person He created you to be. Transformation is not instantaneous. It's a journey of surrender, faith, and trust in God's process. You must allow Him to redefine your identity, to pull you out of the shadow of past hurts and into the light of His purpose. As this happens, you'll notice that others begin to see the change in you. They'll recognize the confidence, peace, and purpose that come from walking in alignment with God's vision for your life. This is the power of transformed perception, a process that starts within and unfolds to the world around you. When God begins to change how others see you, it's not just a shift in their perspective, it's a divine repositioning that elevates you into alignment with His purpose. Often we are limited by how others perceive us, because human judgment is frequently based on outward appearances, past mistakes, or societal expectations. People tend to define you by your history rather than your destiny, by what you've done rather than what God is doing in your life. However, when God steps in, He changes the narrative. He doesn't allow others to define you by their limited understanding. Instead, He reveals His work in your life, transforming how others perceive you so that His glory is made evident. This transformation is not about seeking validation or approval from people. It's about God reordering circumstances in such a way that others can no longer deny the evidence of His hand on your life. Think about David, for example. When the prophet Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, David wasn't even considered by his own family. His brothers were paraded before Samuel, but none of them was chosen. David was left in the fields, overlooked and underestimated. But when God called David, He brought him from obscurity into the spotlight, bypassing human expectations and opinions. In that moment, God changed how others saw David, not as a shepherd boy, but as a future king. This shift in perception is often necessary because people's views can limit how far you go. If others see you as incapable or unworthy, they may try to keep you in positions beneath your potential. But when God transforms their perspective, He removes those barriers. He will cause people who doubted you to recognize your gifts, those who dismissed you to seek your wisdom, and those who overlook you to acknowledge your worth. This doesn't happen because of anything you do to prove yourself. It happens because God's favor is undeniable. When God changes how others see you, it's not about glorifying you, it's about glorifying Him. He uses your transformation to reveal His power, His grace, and His ability to rewrite stories. Even those who opposed you will have to admit that something extraordinary has taken place in your life. Consider Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. For years, he was seen as nothing more than a servant or a prisoner. But when God elevated Joseph to the second highest position in Egypt, even those who had wronged him had to bow before him. God changed how they saw Joseph, not just as their brother, but as a leader and a savior in a time of famine. This change in perception also comes with responsibility. When God elevates you, it's not just for your benefit, it's for His purpose. Others are watching how you handle the transformation. Your life becomes a testimony of what God can do, inspiring faith in those who witness it. It's a reminder that God's plans are greater than human opinions and that His timing is perfect. As He changes how others see you, He prepares you to walk confidently in the calling He has placed on your life. When God changes how the world reflects your purpose, it is a transformative process that goes beyond personal gain and speaks to the larger mission He has designed for your life. The change in your image is not merely a superficial adjustment, but a divine alignment with the destiny He has set before you. This transformation is about positioning you to fulfill a purpose greater than yourself, one that impacts others, shifts environments, and brings glory to God. Purpose is always at the heart of God's plan. He doesn't transform you for the sake of appearances. He does it because your life carries an assignment that requires a specific presentation to the world. Think of how God elevated Esther, a young Jewish woman, to the position of queen in Persia. It wasn't simply so she could enjoy royal status. God placed her there strategically so she could intercede for her people at a critical moment in history. Her outward appearance and her position were tools God used to reflect a purpose that ultimately saved an entire nation. Similarly, when God changes how the world reflects your purpose, He is equipping you for a greater mission. This transformation often involves a repositioning that may seem confusing or even uncomfortable at first. You might feel out of place or unqualified for the roles and responsibilities God is preparing for you, but this is intentional. God uses these moments to stretch your faith and teach you to rely on Him, just as Joseph's journey took him from the pit to Potiphar's house to prison before ultimately reaching the palace. Your transformation may involve unexpected detour. Each step, however, is part of God's refining process, designed to prepare you for the moment when your purpose is fully revealed to the world. When God changes how the world reflects your purpose, He also shifts the way others interact with you. People may begin to recognize qualities in you that they previously overlooked. Leadership, wisdom, creativity, or resilience. These qualities were always there, but God's timing ensures that they are revealed and appreciated at the right moment. This isn't about seeking recognition or validation from others. It's about God creating opportunities for your purpose to be fulfilled. As your image aligns with your calling, doors will open that no one can shut, and connections will form that propel you further into God's plan. This process also serves as a testimony to those around you. When people see the transformation in your life, it becomes a reflection of God's power and grace. Your journey becomes a source of inspiration, showing others that God is able to take someone from humble beginnings, brokenness, or obscurity and position them for greatness. This isn't just about elevating you, it's about pointing others to the one who made the transformation possible. God changes how the world reflects your purpose. It's about impact. Your life becomes a vessel through which God's love, wisdom, and power flow into the lives of others. Every step of the journey, every moment of transformation is a testament to His faithfulness and His ability to use you for His glory. You are not just a participant in His plan, you are an essential part of it, carrying His light and purpose into a world that desperately needs both. When God reshapes how you look to fit the destiny He has for you, it is a purposeful and profound transformation. God is not random or accidental in His actions. Everything He does serves a greater plan. This change is about aligning your life your character, appearance, actions, and even how others perceive you with the specific calling and mission He has designed for you. It's a process that requires preparation, patience, and trust as God works to position you where you need to be for His purpose to unfold. Destiny is intricately tied to identity. Before you can step into the fullness of what God has for you, He often has to reshape aspects of your life to prepare you for the responsibilities, challenges, and influence that come with your calling. This transformation can be external, such as changes in your position, relationships, or environment, but it is primarily God works on your heart, refining your character, renewing your mind, and strengthening your faith so that you are equipped to carry out His will. This inner transformation is reflected outwardly, making it clear to others that something significant is taking place in your life. Consider the story of Saul, who became the Apostle Paul. Before his encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, Saul was known for persecuting Christians. His identity was tied to his past actions, and his name carried a reputation that instilled fear. But when God called him, He not only changed Saul's purpose, but also transformed how people saw him. Saul became Paul, a new name and a new identity that reflected his destiny as a messenger of the gospel. God reshaped Paul's entire life to fit the destiny of spreading His word to the nations. This wasn't just a change in how Paul saw himself, it was a change in how the world perceived him as well. When God reshapes you for your destiny, it often requires stepping away from old patterns, roles, and even relationships that no longer align with where He is taking you. This can be uncomfortable and even painful at times, as it may feel like you're losing parts of yourself or being misunderstood by others. But this process is necessary for growth. God is molding you to fit the space He has prepared for you, a space that requires you to be fully aligned with His vision for your life. The changes He makes are intentional, ensuring that you have the strength, humility, and wisdom to handle the weight of your calling. This transformation is also a testimony of God's power. When others see the changes in your life, they witness God's ability to take someone from ordinary to extraordinary, from brokenness to wholeness, or from insignificance to prominence. It becomes evident that the reshaping is not your doing, but the work of a higher power. This is why the process of transformation is so crucial. It not only equips you for your destiny, but also reveals God's glory to those around you. In the end, God's reshaping is always for your good and His glory. He is not merely concerned with where you are now, but with where you are going. He knows the plans He has for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. When He reshapes you for your destiny, He ensures that you are ready to fulfill the purpose for which you were created, leaving a lasting impact on the world and pointing others to His greatness. When God begins to transform how you look by aligning your outward image with the work He is doing within, it is a process of deep inner reflection leading to outward projection. This is not a superficial change, but a holistic transformation that begins in the heart and mind, radiating outward to influence the way you are perceived by the world. God's plan for your life requires alignment between who you are internally, your character, faith, and purpose, and how you present yourself externally. This alignment ensures that your life becomes a true reflection of His divine intention. The transformation starts within because everything outward flows from the heart. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. God begins by addressing the things within us that do not align with His will. Fear, insecurity, pride, and doubt. He refines these areas, replacing them with faith, confidence, humility, and a renewed sense of purpose. As your inner self is renewed, it naturally influences how you carry yourself. Your demeanor changes, your speech reflects hope and wisdom, and your actions demonstrate integrity and love. This shift is not something you force. It is the fruit of God's Spirit working in and through you. And when your heart and mind are transformed, it creates a ripple effect on your outward appearance and presence. People will begin to notice the peace, joy, and strength that radiate from you. You may not even realize it, but your very presence starts to reflect God's glory. This transformation draws others to you not because of physical beauty or charisma, but because of the light that shines through you. It is a light that cannot be hidden because it is fueled by God's work within your soul. God's transformation of your image is often accompanied by a shift in how you see yourself. When you begin to see yourself through God's eyes, as His masterpiece, created for good works, It changes the way you present yourself to the world. You walk with confidence, not arrogance, because you understand that your worth comes from Him. You speak with authority, not because of your own strength, but because you trust in the power of His word. This internal shift is reflected outwardly, and others begin to perceive the evidence of God's hand on your life. This process also involves stripping away old identities and labels that no longer define you. The world may have seen you as weak, broken, or insignificant, but when God transforms you, those labels fall away. Instead, you are seen as strong, whole, and purposeful. This outward projection of inner change allows others to see the transformation and be inspired by it. Your life becomes a testimony showing that God can take anyone, regardless of their past, and make them into something beautiful and impactful. The alignment between inner reflection and outward projection is a testament to God's power and faithfulness. When others see the change in you, they are witnessing God's glory being revealed. Your life becomes a mirror that reflects His love, grace, and purpose. This transformation is not just for your benefit, it is a part of God's greater plan to draw others closer to Him through the evidence of His work in your life. It is a reminder that true beauty and purpose starts from within. And when God is at work, the transformation will shine outward for all to see. When God changes how you look, it's not merely for personal transformation, but to make you a light that shines brightly in the world, drawing others toward Him. This change is about positioning you as a reflection of His love, power, and purpose, so that your life becomes a living testimony of His grace. God's work in you is never just about you. It is always connected to His larger plan of reaching others, inspiring them, and showing them what is possible when they align themselves with Him. As God transforms you, your life begins to radiate His presence in ways that cannot go unnoticed. People will see something different about you, not just in your outward appearance, but in how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you respond to challenges. This light is not something you create on your own. It is the evidence of God's Spirit working within you. Jesus said in Matthew 5:16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." When God changes how you look, it is so that His light within you becomes visible to everyone around you. This light is not meant to draw attention to yourself, but to point others to God. When people witness the transformation in your life, it stirs something within them. It causes them to wonder what has changed, what has given you such peace, confidence, or purpose. Your life becomes a source of hope and encouragement for those who are searching for answers, struggling with doubt, or feeling stuck in their circumstances. By seeing the evidence of God's work in your life, they begin to believe that transformation is possible for them too. God's purpose in making you a light is also to position you as an agent of change in your environment. Whether it's in your family, workplace, community, or even on a global scale, your transformation has a ripple effect. When others encounter the light of God through you, it challenges them to reevaluate their own lives and consider the possibility of something greater. Your actions, words, and presence become a testimony of what God can do, inspiring others to seek Him and trust in His plans for their lives. This process often comes with responsibility. Being a light means that your life is on display, and people are watching how you handle success, challenges, and relationships. God's transformation equips you with the character and wisdom to navigate this responsibility with grace. It's not about perfection, but about authenticity, showing others that God's power is made perfect even in weakness. Your journey, with its highs and lows, becomes a powerful example of how God can use anyone for His glory. When God changes how you look and makes you a light, it's about fulfilling your role in His kingdom. He uses your transformation to touch lives, to encourage those in darkness, and to guide others toward Him. You are not just a recipient of His grace. You are a vessel through which His grace flows to the world. Your life becomes a beacon, reminding others that with God, transformation is not only possible, but inevitable for those who are willing to trust Him. This is the ultimate purpose of the change, so that His glory is revealed through you, and others are drawn closer to Him. In conclusion, the transformation God brings to your life is far more than a change in how you look. It's a divine realignment that affects your identity, purpose, and impact on the world. God is rewriting your story, shifting how you see yourself, how others perceive you, and how you reflect His purpose and light to the world. This process is intentional, designed to equip you for the destiny He has prepared for you, and to position you as a vessel of His glory. As God works within you, the change radiates outward. It touches every area of your life, influences the people around you, and leaves an undeniable testimony of His power and grace. People may have defined you by your past or placed limits on your potential, but God's transformation transcends all human perceptions and labels. He is shaping you into a reflection of His image, calling you to live a life that inspires, uplifts, and glorifies Him. This journey of transformation requires trust, patience, and surrender to God's plan. It's not about striving to meet the world's expectations, but about embracing the identity and purpose God has placed within you. As you walk in this transformation, remember that it is not just for your benefit. It is a calling to impact others, to shine His light in the darkest places, and to bring hope to those who witness His work in your life. Let this transformation be a reminder of God's faithfulness and love. He sees beyond your flaws, failures, and insecurities. He sees the masterpiece He created, and He is committed to shaping you into the person He designed you to be. Allow Him to continue His work. Trust His timing, and walk boldly in the calling He has placed on your life. God is changing how you look, not just physically, but spiritually, emotionally, and relationally, so that your life becomes a living testimony of His power. Embrace the transformation, knowing that His plans are always for your good and His glory. And as you step into the fullness of who He has called you to be, remember this: you are a reflection of His greatness, and through you, the world will see His life.